Okay. Okay, I think we're live. And we're on time. Oh my god. How is that possible? Let's not push it. Okay. Oh man. It is so good to be back for Self-Care Sunday. How the hell are you on my birthday? Okay, I'm like monitoring it and it's crazy. I gotta turn off the audio. Where's the other one playing? Oh god. Oh, that is insane. Where is that window? Is there like a massive echo or is that just in my headphones? Oh boy. I have no idea where this window is. You guys should see how many windows are open right now. Okay, so I muted that one. Wow. Oh boy. Oh god, so good to see all this love in the chat. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna need that. Okay, I have some guests coming, otherwise I wouldn't be dealing with this. Oh man. Where is that? Oh my god, I'm just gonna shout some people out while I'm futzing. Hello, Jay Frost, Alex McDonald, Alex K, Alicia Walkman, all the A names, Callie Lee, Fallen Star Burning, Holly, Kristen D. Mercurio, what up, nerd? Long time no see. Oh man. I wish the nerd was better at... Okay, I figured it out. Okay, great. Now I can take the headphones off and actually be here with all of you lovely people. Some exciting stuff. Today is my birthday. I'm 27 years old. 1 year older. Wiser? That's questionable. However, there is one thing that I am more of, and it is in the other room. Oh my god, but 1 second. Tiffy! Tiffy! My beautiful cat probably hates this, really hates this. There's no question that she hates this. But I didn't see her last night because I was on the Upper West Side crashing at my parents' place because I had a race this morning. And it is a first of the races I've been to. What's up, Tiffy? What do you want? Want me to scratch? Okay, anyway, I'll be right back. Well, in fact, why don't you come with me? All right, Tiffy, let's not be near the electronics. Okay. This is gonna be weird. I apologize if it cuts out. I will bring you back in like momentarily. But here's the new thing that we can do. So I just gotta hold on to all these cables. All right, here goes nothing. Ah! Just you see this box? That thing on the table that says cam wave? Oh yeah. We're wireless now. Well, except for the power cable. But yeah, Self-Care Sunday is loose. We're loose in Bushwick, people. I'm gonna take you into my living room. I know, we're leaving the the reservation. Oh god. This is so exciting. What an awesome way to celebrate my birthday. And with you amazing humans. We're overexposed now. All right. Let's fix that real quick. Oh yeah. Alrighty. Welcome to my living room. I have something to show you. This is super overkill to show you this. I absolutely could have just brought my jacket into the other room, but I thought we'd have fun with the new thing. So I cannot necessarily claim more wisdom, but I can claim more trophies. This is the first running trophy of my life as a runner from this morning. I ran a 10K and I didn't stop until the very end. I don't recommend doing that if you have knee pain. Luckily, I didn't have knee pain. I only had stomach cramps, and thankfully I didn't eat anything. Otherwise, I probably would have barfed, but I didn't. It's good. So yeah, what else can we do out here while we're here? Well, Tiffy's probably still a little bit mad at me for not coming home last night. So maybe, oh yeah, this is her favorite. All right, I'm gonna get the chat so that we can chat while Tiffy goes nuts with this thing. So 1 second, I'm just pulling up the chat. I hear there's some questions in there right now, and I would love to answer some birthday questions while Tiffy has fun with this thing. This girl gets air. All right, YouTube live stream. Okay. All right, guys, I'm in the chat right now. Love Kirby forever. I have been good. I have been very good. It's been an interesting time. If you've heard my new podcast, Focused.af, you will know that I was recently laid off from my startup job. I got 1 more week to wrap up, and then 2 weeks of glorious severance with some lovely health insurance that I will take full fucking advantage of. Excuse my French. But yeah, I'm excited. It's one of those things that's like, it's scary, but it's also really invigorating. And I'm, yeah, I just got to deal with some logistical stuff. But other than that, like, things at Wolf are really working. I have a chance to bring Project Uplift back into more full swing. I'm talking with a couple schools about some big events this fall. Oh man, she knows I'm not paying full attention. She hates when I'm just like half-assing it with this. She can tell. Isn't that right, Tiffy? Isn't that right? All right. So yeah. So that's a little bit about how I've been. So yeah. What is my favorite Wolf 359 T-shirt? I think. So it's hard. It's a hard choice, but Kepler in gold, I think, is a bold choice. What do you think, Tiffy? What's your favorite? She's like, I don't listen to podcasts. Let's see. Cheryl Lee, what type of cake will I be having for my birthday? You know me too well. I will be having something sweet. Oof. Yeah, sorry about this camera being out of focus. I think there's autofocus. How about now? So yeah, I got some treats for us to sort of share from my favorite vegan bakery. This is chocolate covered macaroon from Peace Food. Oh. Mmm. Rhinoceros Rex. I don't know if I saw my present on Tumblr. I'm very excited for my present on Tumblr. But yeah. Oh, Krista Burchard taking a break from writing her essay to join us for Self-Care Sunday Live. So great. I'm thrilled to be an excuse for a break, because I think breaks breed productivity. Is this in focus? Is this better? Okay. Whoa, the chat moves fast. You guys are amazing. Let's see. Can we get a Kepler shirt with the entire whiskey speech? I think it might break the printer at printful.com. I think that they would sue us for exploding their printer with awesomeness. This little bug. All right. So great. I wish that I could share these sweet delights over the internet, but alas, technology does not allow. No. Favorite ice cream from Mitsuki Dead. Mitsuki is dead. Favorite ice cream? I really like a mate ice cream at this place called Cones in New York City. If you're ever in New York City, it is my, I guess, no longer secret ice cream special place. Some fun times, fun stories there. They make a mate ice cream that's extraordinary. They make a corn ice cream that's very good and traditional. Tiffy is trying to scratch my hand right now. Meow, meow, meow. 1 second. Let's, while we're out here, this was sort of to get a better angle on the Tiff monster, ultimately. Because really, I know I'm just like a nice pastime while Tiffy's not in the frame. Let's be real. Isn't that right, Tiffy? Tiffy, come to this side. Tiffy. Yeah, come here. No. She's camera shy. She's a diva. I can't afford her rates. So she just puts up with me. It's so bright today. Such a beautiful day. So glad you guys could join me. All right, couple more questions, and then I'm going to take us back into the other room because I can't have the chat with our special guests today. Tiffy. What would you tell yourself this time last year? From Eloise W. That is an awesome question. Let's see. So this time last year, literally today, I was traveling to Pittsburgh. I was in Pittsburgh on stage for the National Alliance on Mental Illness's Southwestern Pennsylvanian chapter. They had an annual conference, and they brought me in to talk about how one person can make a difference, specifically in the area of mental health, but also generally, and to help them communicate their message around first episode psychosis and the importance of getting care right after a first psychotic episode, because it'll alter the life cycle of the entire of somebody's life dealing with psychosis. And yeah, it was an extraordinary weekend that really was an incredible opportunity for me to connect with people at the event, and I got to meet just sort of randomly one of my childhood idols. What was his name? Of course, I am like blanking. This is what happens when you go live: is you just forget everything. Obviously, Bill freaking Nye. I ran into Bill Nye on the airplane. I just looked at my podcast app because the Bernie Sanders show is now a thing, and Bill Nye is his second guest. That's going to be amazing. The volume's a little low, so I couldn't hear it on the subway. But anyway, Bill Nye, awesome guy. Got to meet him. So yeah, what would I tell myself? Hey. What would I tell myself last year? No. I would tell myself to, one, not put so much pressure on myself to make... I would challenge myself to redefine what it means to be professional. I made a decision to go part-time to focus on my public speaking, and I had it in my head of what that would look like. Like, it would need to be me doing cold calling to try to get people to book me, to speak more. And I think I would have challenged myself to be more creative. I would have asked myself, what is the most fun thing about Project Uplift? And how could you do something every week that's like that? As opposed to like beating myself over the head about what I should do and how I should do it right. Yeah, this summer I'm going to do that. And I think I had to go through last year to realize this. So like, I don't think it was wasted time. I don't regret it. But like this summer, I'm going to be doing a bunch of Uplift events. I just tore apart, if you follow me on Instagram, I tore apart the original Project Uplift tower. I have a ton more space in my closet. I'll show you. It's beautiful now. It's not just like a giant box with crap around it. And yeah, one of those things that I'm like really excited about doing. Whoa, so many questions. It's amazing. Alexi Winter, if you're the Alexi I think you are, happy belated birthday, because it was your birthday yesterday. If you're the Alexi I think you are, and I think you are, but what do I know? I will be inviting Zach Labresco. I will be having guests, hopefully every weekend. Yeah, that would be nice, but we'll see. Oh, Indie Chick, you made it! So great to see you. Christy Conrad, also, you're the best. Christy, I just want to shout out Christy for being so helpful yesterday. There were a couple people that were so helpful in helping me test out this wireless thing. So right now what I'm doing, this thing is a wireless transmitter that's sending the signal into the other room and then broadcasting that into outer space. Pretty exciting. Innocent doodles. Hugs are some of my favorite things. I love hugs. I was taught how to give hugs at a certain point in camp because I was so awkward, and I did like the butt backup hug, and two lovely people at my summer camp were like, this ain't gonna fly. They taught me how to hug. All right. I am going to migrate us back to the other room. I'll show you the closet really quick, and then I'm going to get Lauren Shippen on the line, who I'm so excited to join me for this birthday stream. But I just remembered, before we go back, I have like this list of like things to cover. I want to say a super thank you to Lyra S. Lyra S did an incredible job last week of shooting me time codes in the chat, in the comments after the video went live, that I could copy paste, that had basically time codes of like what was talked about in the stream, so people coming to it throughout the week could like skip to the good parts, because I know there's some like long boring parts that are shitty, but that's the problem with live. But anyway, I figure it might be a waste of time to have a bunch of people do it, so I don't know if somebody in the chat wants to start like a Google Doc and share it and people can kind of work together on it. But it's really useful to get those time codes so I can put them in the description of the video and people can kind of navigate around the video while it's live after the stream. Just throwing it out there. And thank you, Lyra S, for doing that. You're amazing. All right, let's go back to the other room. Ooh. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. The only problem with this situation is, if anything comes unplugged, specifically if the power comes unplugged from the camera, everything goes out of sync and goes to hell. Whoa. All right. Quick detour to the closet. My latest and greatest project. This is what I did Friday night. What a killer social life I have. Literally spent it in the closet. All right, 1 second. Boom. And let's come here. All right. I wonder if that's bright enough. Maybe this will help. Oops. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see this, but basically I have these like crossbeam things that I used for Project Uplift truck. When I rented a truck, those things keep things sort of positioned in the bed, and I'm basically using them as like a makeshift shelf. They're like industrial like shower hanging rods. So that's been interesting. I just have like a bunch of wood and like stuff on top of that to make better use of the space. And yeah, so Project Uplift used to be like all up in that corner that Tiffy's in, and she couldn't get into the closet, and it was sort of precarious and mildly dangerous. That's better. So yeah, this is my newly organized fresh.af closet. Got some more wood to do some interesting things with. We're going to be rebuilding Project Uplift, smaller, more portable, better than ever. And Tiffy has more room to hang out in. But Tiffy, I don't feel good about you being in there. I don't want anything to fall on you. All right, let's get her out. Let me call Lauren. All right. Thank you for joining me for the 2017 closet walkthrough. All right, yeah. Okie dokie. Bum, 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 bum. All right, I'm going to put you guys back on the printer. Okay. Well, this was a fun little tour. Eventually I'll have a battery pack on this camera so that we won't need to lug all those cords around, and it'll be a little bit more seamless and fluid, and we could even go to the backyard. How cool would that be to stream from the backyard? Maybe we'll do the next Wolf 359 live stream there. All right, is this in focus? I think it is. What if I come back? Yeah, I think it's good. Let me know in the chat if it's crappy. All right. All right, Lauren. Let's do this thing. Bum, 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 bum. Alrighty. So. Hey!
Am I here?
I'm here. 1 second. Say something. Say anything.
Happy birthday!
Ah! Yay! 1 second.
It's your birthday!
So good to see you, Lauren. Thank you for coming.
So good to see you. Happiest of happy birthdays.
Oh man, this is so exciting.
And congrats on your race this morning. That's so
Thank
dope.
you. Yeah, no, it was super fun. I almost puked after, but I didn't.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
That was the first time. That was the first time that that's ever happened. I was like, uh-oh.
Man, I can't like walk upstairs without feeling winded.
Wyndham is not. They were super nice about it though. They were like all over me with the medical tents like right after the race. It's like they've done this before.
Wow, they had that whole system in place.
Right. They thought about this one. All right, let me see if I can actually get your video on the screen.
That would be nifty.
Oh, so cool. Oh, next time you're in New York, I'll show you if you want to be doing this. You have a YouTube channel that people should check out.
I've never had to do I've never done a live stream other than live streams I've done with you. So I would love to learn the ropes.
Oh my God,
hi
it's
everyone
super fun.
that's saying hi to me in the chat. Hi guys, how's it going?
Friends.
Hi Kristen. They can barely hear me. Apparently.
Oh, they can barely hear you? 1 second, I'm gonna raise your
Someone
volume.
said that. That might be.
Right, no, it's my end. It's my end. I thought you were gonna be too loud, so I put you quieter.
Wow, thanks, Zach.
I know, it's my bad.
I'm a loud person, huh?
All right.
That Lauren's gonna come in. She's gonna be talking so loud.
So loud. God, just like maximum loudness all the time. All right. Let's see. Okay, I think that's gonna be good.
Quiet and echoey.
Still quiet and echoey?
Well, hello. Can everybody hear me? Okay. They can't hear either of us, I guess, in the chat.
They can't hear either.
Oh no, Kristen says we fixed it. It's better.
Oh, people are gonna be behind, so by the time we're done,
gotcha.
You're gonna be yelling in their ears next.
Oh, sorry guys. Don't mean to yell. Okay, great.
And flipping the switch right now. I think that's gonna work and look cool.
Cool. This is weird to have the chat and the stream open and the Google Hangout.
Oh my God, yeah.
That it's just.
I feel you.
Everything's happening 10 seconds apart. I don't know how you do this.
It's a nightmare, but it's a fun one. It's one that I obviously like enough to do again every week.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, this is what, week 3, right?
Okay, so yes, this is week 3. That's exactly right. Zach is being such a control freak. David Hayes, get used to it.
Welcome to the party.
Oh man. All right. So it looks like people can hear. We hear, don't see. I think we should be side by side.
Oh yeah, we're side by side in my live stream.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Cool. Yeah.
Your picture is much better than mine because I'm on my little webcam.
We can fix that next time I'm out.
Okay.
Cool. So I have some questions for you. But first, why don't you, for the few people here that may not know who you are, I feel like people know who you are, but
I can introduce myself.
Yeah, do it.
So my name is Lauren Shippen. Hi guys. And I make a podcast called The Bright Sessions, and that's actually how I met Zach. We connected on Tumblr many moons ago. And have become internet friends and then real life friends. And I'm also a huge fan of Wolf 59, and I sort of then stalked them on Tumblr, and now we're friends, and my plan is working.
It's so funny because I was a fan of the Bright Sessions, and it was sort of like around the same time, and it was like somebody asked me a question. I was talking a little earlier about going to the NAMI event last year, and it was so fun to when I was there. And people were like, what else do you do? I'm like, well, I do these audio drama podcasts, and you should listen to this show about mental health. And I feel like it was around then that we connected and sort of realized we were
I think it was
mutual fans and yeah. And then of course a year later I am crashing on your couch after PatreCon and
and we drove down from Zach convinced me to drive from San Francisco to LA on the PCH, which is the Pacific Coast Highway. It was terrifying, but it was beautiful, and we survived. And we got to see some seals.
There was only one really close call.
There was only one really close call where I almost missed a turn because it was pitch black, but it was fine.
We made it.
I did it. Nobody else was on the road. It was fine.
It was very Jason Statham of you.
It was. But not in the best way, maybe.
If you ever need to rob a bank, driver.
That's me. Yep. Getaway car. No, don't ask me to do that. It will not be good. Particularly not down the coastal highway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time.
So I wanted to ask you a question, a couple questions, and I think so there are 2 buckets, and the first one is about self-care. And the next one's about
Okay.
creativity, and we're going to bring somebody else in that I've been talking with who
Cool.
wants to talk about that. But I got a message from somebody on Tumblr, and I'm like, I didn't have a chance to like ask them for permission to so I'm not going to mention them by name. I'm not going to like show the message, but long story short, they were asking about how to deal with what I would call like negative self-talk. Like, right? They talked about having like those voices and that voice in the back of their head that just like, you're the worst, like you suck, like just don't even try, like that sort of a thing. Which I'm like,
Yeah.
I hear you, man. They must hang out, mine and yours, because it sounds
Yep.
familiar. And I would love to know if that's something that you can relate to, if that's something that you've dealt with, and if that's something that you have found any resources that have been useful in dealing with.
Yeah, so I definitely can relate to that. And it's, yeah, negative self-talk, I think, is something that, everybody has experienced, but it's definitely a big part of my anxiety disorder. And my therapist calls it my cell phone from hell. Of like, there's this like this, it's amazing. There's a second cell phone that you have, and it's connected on the other line to hell. And when it's ringing, you're picking up, and it's just someone from hell calling to tell you how much they hate you.
Oh my God.
And so that's been kind of like a fun image to have in my brain of like, when I'm hearing my own like negative self-talk, I'm like, okay, no, that's my cell phone from hell calling. I don't have to pick up. That's the thing. It's like, you don't have to pick up the phone. So that's helpful, I think, to have some sort of imagery, or like, there's another good metaphor that she uses. That's like something about driving a bus that I can't actually remember enough to recreate here. But I think it's really hard. That's an aspect of like my own sort of mental health and my own self-care that I haven't, yet found a perfect solution to, or even found like a really helpful coping mechanism. So I think, the cell phone from hell thing helps. And then sometimes it's just about, because you want to balance between ignoring it and avoiding it, because it's like, it's one thing to like not pick up the cell phone from hell, right? And to be like, I'm not going to listen to this negative self-talk about myself. But then if you're just avoiding it and you're just suppressing the emotion, then that's not always the best solution, because then it's eventually just going to come back up. So sometimes it can be just like, okay, I acknowledge that I'm thinking that, and that's mean of me to think about myself. So you know what? I'm just gonna ignore that. I'm not gonna listen to that. I think another thing is like, if you find yourself thinking things about yourself, try to think those same things about someone that you love, and be like, okay, I would never say this to someone, to the face of somebody that I care about. So why the hell am I saying it to myself?
I love
that. Just really thinking about what you're actually saying, and maybe getting to the root of it with therapists and stuff like that can be helpful. But just sort of being like, no, I wouldn't talk to my best friend that way. I'm not gonna talk to myself that way. Don't take that from yourself. Don't put up with that.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that. I feel like that's definitely an idea that I find really useful, of just like, I am my own worst critic. Like, I am a jerk to myself in a way that like I would punch somebody in the face if they talk to me the way I talk to myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And reframing it that way is super useful, I think, just to get that perspective of like, that's just a crappy voice that's like default, and maybe other people have it. I think they do. Like, I think everybody sort of has that. I don't know.
Definitely. How do you deal with that voice when it comes up?
I think what you said was like so similar, and I want to sort of assert, or maybe not assert, but I'm curious if this sort of thing is something that anyone ever gets rid of, right? Like I heard sort of implicit in what you were saying that like one day you'll find like the X strategy and it'll just go away. And maybe that's different for everybody, but like...
No, like, no, you're good on you for calling me out about that, because my therapist is always calling me out about this. She's like, you're not gonna like reach a day when you don't have anxiety.
Right.
Like, it's like, you're not gonna wake up
so
one day
funny.
and just like all of a sudden be cured of your anxiety.
Right.
Yeah. So no, there is no magic bullet that's gonna like fix a thing.
And that's the thing so when I was younger, I was in a coaching program at a company called Landmark, and one of the leaders said something that really stuck with me, where they're like, you know, flip books, like
Mm-hmm.
so it was like that as part of the metaphor. I'm gonna fill the truck and then we'll hit the road. So that's part of the metaphor, and then the other one is like, you know, cartoons where it's like the coyote falls down the snowy mountain and it starts to like build up into like this like crazy snowball.
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine that like the crazy snowball is like crappy thoughts about yourself, and then
Yeah.
like, and the trick is to like kind of fill your tool belt with ways to shake it off. And I think reframing it as like the phone from hell, so that you have that awareness, so when it comes up you're like, maybe you deal with it for half a day and then you're like, oh crap, I've just been picking up the phone, it's that stupid phone again, like I can hang it
Yeah.
up. In that moment you shake it off, and it's not that like it's gone forever. In the next moment you're still going down the hill, but it's like,
Yeah.
you create, like in the flip book, in animation it's like frame by frame, you create this illusion of being snow free, of being crappy self-talk free,
Mm-hmm.
by just practicing with and like learning different tools to shake it off, like in this moment and in this moment and in this moment and in this moment.
Yeah.
And you know, it may look from the outside like it's something you don't deal with, but of course it is. And it's just like about kind of continually catching it in that, you know, that awareness. Way easier said than
Yeah.
done.
Definitely. But I think also that reminds me of another thing that has been helpful for me as somebody who's like very organized and like structure, and like, you know, it benefits from that, where sometimes with my anxiety, and this like, you know, feeds into negative self-talk as well, I will like dedicate 15 minutes in my day where it's like, these are the 15 minutes that I get to just freak out about everything. And it's like, I get to worry about everything. I get to be as mean to myself as I want. Like those are the 15 minutes. But then what ends up happening is that like, if I know like, okay, I'm going to do those 15 minutes while I'm washing the dishes later today, so that I can just like freak out while I'm washing dishes. Then what happens is that during the day, I'll have an anxiety or I'll have a negative thought, and I'll be like, okay, no, think about that and your anxiety time. And then by the time I get to my anxiety time, I'm like, wait, what was I anxious about earlier? What was I saying? Like, and if you're sort of like, oh, I'm going to get to that, by the time you get there, it's not there anymore. So sometimes that can be helpful too. Yeah. Having just dedicated anxiety time.
My mom, when I lived at home, and I won't even say when I was little, honestly, to the last day, would always, like when I was really upset, offer me this fat red baseball bat, like this wiffle ball bat,
Yeah.
and just be like, go hit your pillow for like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, screaming
then,
into your pillow.
Yeah. Right, no, totally. And
Yeah.
oh man, after the election, that was like one of my favorite pastimes.
Oh
man.
yeah. I mean, this is why I box. It's like, it feels really good to go to a gym for 45 minutes and hit stuff really hard, you know?
Oh man,
that's really fun.
Awesome. I get a similar thing out of running, but I think it's a little bit less cathartic and more destructive to my knees. But
yeah,
running is basically grinding your teeth, but it just seems healthier.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't run. I don't.
Oh man.
Don't care for that. I also just want to just say to the chat that I really like the word Hellphone, and I can't believe that never occurred to me. Thank you for that.
Whoa, that's incredible. Wow, that's
Hellphone is great. And yes, it is like saying "Not today, Satan." That's basically exactly what it is.
Oh, that's fucking great.
I love that.
Cool. While we're looking at the chat, why don't we open the chat? That was my question, and like, hell yeah. And if you guys don't listen to the Bright Sessions, do yourself a favor. Get this podcast. It's amazing.
Thanks,
it has,
Zach.
Well, what's cool about it is like, not only is it entertaining.af and like a drama that like sucks you into the show, not only does it have like incredible representation of like sexuality and race and like all these nuanced perspectives that are really important in this day and age now more than ever, it also, embedded in the thing, has like bits about mindfulness and like useful tools. And I'm just like, I'm a big fan of this idea of like edutainment, where it's like education, I think, is the leverage for improving life on Earth, but you like, there's no lecturing people who don't want to learn, and so how do you get attention? And I think by being entertaining. So I love this show. You should check out this show if you don't listen to this show.
Thanks, Zach. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you. Okay. Let's go to the chat with any questions for Lauren or for myself or for the Hellphone, about
I have
self-care.
a question for you from earlier in the chat because I'm also curious. What does the sticker on the back of your phone say?
The sticker on the back of my phone says,
Yeah.
"I do not consent to the search of this device."
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. I doubt that it would actually prevent the TSA or the NSA or any other SAs
Probably not legally binding, but
Oh, absolutely not. But it makes me feel somewhat politically more active than I would feel without it. Yeah, it's part of the Electronic Freedom Foundation, EFF.org.
Cool.
I'm probably messing that up, but yeah, I got in this sweet makerspace that I want to be spending more time in than I have been recently. But I recently took a laser cutting class there, so I can use their laser cutter, which is
Cool.
super fun.
That's awesome.
I don't know what you would need it for, but
No, I don't know, but that's a cool thing to know how to do.
yeah, I mean, it's basically making stuff in like Adobe Illustrator and then bringing it there and plugging it into their super expensive, dangerous laser that then will cut it out of different things. And you can do like acrylic and like even wood,
Wow.
like up to like a quarter inch. No, eighth of an inch. I think
Wow.
the reason that I went is because we're building teleprompters. I shared about this maybe 2 weeks ago. We're building these teleprompters for a series that I want to do.
Oh yeah, I saw this on your
Yeah.
Instagram. That was
Yeah.
so cool.
Boss Gal is a series that I want to do, like interviewing incredible women. I think we
Yeah.
talked about it. I think you're going to be one of them. But basically, in order to hold the teleprompter glass, we need to make like a frame. So I have this like thin particle board that I think is like just thin enough that it'll be able to cut through it, so that we can get exactly the right shape without me losing a finger using my power
Yes,
tools.
please keep all of your limbs. Those are
Working on
important.
it.
You use them often to build things.
Hell yeah. All right, we got.
There was a
What are our
question.
favorite colors?
Favorite colors.
Yeah. What are
Mine is green. It's my favorite color. What's your favorite color?
Aw, is that why Caleb feels green?
That's definitely why that. Well, I mean, also for like color palette reasons, like for actually how colors work, it was green. But yeah, I mean, it's a happy accident that green is also my favorite color.
Bless. Mine would have to be blue, but I really like a lot of different colors. But just by the nature of, if you summed up everything in my life and divided it by the most, into color, yeah, I have more blue than anything. And it's like calming to the nervous system. I've heard there's.
It is, yeah. I like cool colors. They're calming. Alicia Workman asks, how do you manage creative projects on bad days? I think that's a great question.
Oh, that's such a great question. And
yeah.
Before we get into that question, that's a great segue into the human being that I wanted to bring in to ask us a question. We're going to see if this works. This might make a mess, but that's what we're here for. That's why we're doing it live.
Yeah. Let's try it out.
1 second. If you're watching the stream, you should know who you are. Julianne Stone. Now's the time. Oh, did I send you the link? No, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? 1 second. I'm messaging you on Twitter now with the link.
Someone asks, does your tattoo say "I am Spartacus"?
This is the point. This is where you say "I am Spartacus," Lauren. And then Tiffy comes in and goes, "Meow, I'm Spartacus." No, it says
Spartacus.
I am surrender. Wow, that is. I'm not sure how to get that in frame. That's upside down.
Surrender, not Spartacus.
Yeah, I am surrender, and it's for me a reminder. Oh, whoops! I sent the wrong link. I'm sorry. Jesus, this is what happens when I try to do 20 things at once. Boom. All right, Julianne Stone, you should have the link now.
Yay!
I am surrender for me is a reminder to stay present. I don't think that surrender is a sign of weakness. I think it is the greatest courage to let go. I think ultimately any control that we have in life is an illusion that has so much of the madness of current events, I think, continually illustrates both acts of God, as insurance people would call it, with like tsunamis and such. And anyway, For me, it reminds me to because I was a really controlling jerk when I was growing up, and so for me, surrender reminds me to just like be present and just like I am on the inhale, just like, and then surrender on the exhale, just like a little mantra. So yeah, that's my tattoo.
I love that. It's a very good reminder to have. Yeah. Lauren, do you feel like a great person? That's, I mean, I'm okay, I think.
I think
I feel like that's such a leading question. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm okay.
If by leading you mean leading to a yes.
We were a cookie, what kind would you be? It's gonna oatmeal raisin, probably.
Yeah, oatmeal raisin. I could see that. But like a really good oatmeal raisin, because I feel like like those crappy store-bought ones, and people think they don't like them because like when you're getting store-bought, you're gonna get like not a great one. But
hello.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm Lauren. It's nice to meet you.
I'm Julianne.
Oh,
Julianne.
This is awesome. I think it's actually working.
Yeah.
Hey, well, welcome, Julianne. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so to sort of catch everybody up, so Julianne reached out last week. I basically asked if anybody was working on a creative thing and wanted to get some perspective and advice, and I don't feel like totally qualified to give advice, and so I figured I'd phone a friend, that friend being Lauren, to help triangulate and maybe tease out some interesting stuff. But I guess first, Julianne, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your like who you are, where you're at, what you're up to. I believe you're at school right now. Is that the case?
I'm a freshman at Savannah College of Art and Design right now. So a lot of creative things happening around me. But
So cool.
I'm an illustration student and I write, and yeah.
Nice.
Brilliant. So you had a question that I felt would be like good for a lot of people, and I think it was sort of like in the vein of creative. What did you call it? It was like creative
creative fatigue.
Right. Could you talk a little bit about that and like what that means to you, where you deal with that? And I am going to disappear for a moment while you share.
Yeah, okay. So I do a lot of writing, and usually, well, right now I'm doing National Novel Writing Month. They're having their camp session or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm currently halfway through my novel, and I've hit the point where I always do, where you start at the top and it's like awesome, and you're writing and it's like all great, and then you get to the middle and it's like, what am I doing with my life? This is terrible. How do I save this? I want to quit. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome though that you're halfway through. I mean, that's such a huge accomplishment in of itself.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're not stepping over that, Lauren.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's something to celebrate. Like, that is, do you want to know how much I've done in NaNoWriMo so far? Like 9 pages. Like, you are doing great, you know? So yeah, take a beat and definitely celebrate that. But I totally know what you mean. I was like kind of like brain dumping on a friend the other week about sort of the cycle of writing when you're in production for something. And I'm sure Zach can relate to this, being in a sort of production loop with a podcast where it's like, you're writing and then you go into recording and then you go into editing as you're writing the rest and then as you're recording the rest. And it's kind of like this weird little cycle. Mm-hmm. And there's this point that I hit every season where I'm like, it's kind of done editing and I'm not yet recording and I'm supposed to be writing, but my mind is like still on what's like next. It's sort of like trapped in a different part of the story and I'm having to move forward. And it's always like the worst 3 weeks of every 6 months because you just feel trapped in the story, right? Like you don't know how to move forward. you don't know, you're not getting the joy out of it. You know, it becomes this less fun thing, and you want to quit. And so I totally know what you're going through. And I think that that's, you know, part of it. I think sometimes it can be helpful to just sit down and write anyway, and just push through it and then go back and like fix it, but just to get something out there. Yeah. And then sometimes it can be helpful to come at it from like a different angle, you know? So I think that if you're getting stuck, then like just jump ahead to the last chapter, you know? Like I was getting stuck in writing this season of the podcast, and I just like started writing the finale, even though I had 6 episodes I needed to write until then, because I was like, I know what I want to happen in the finale, and I just need to find how to get there. But it might be helpful for me to actually like go to that place and then move backwards. And so sometimes like coming into it from a different angle can be good. And then sometimes just like taking a break and, you know, dancing around your apartment for a little bit, or, you know, having out loud conversations with your characters and just ask them like, what's going on with you? Like, what do you want from me? What do you want to do?
We love the apartment dance.
That can be a great thing to do. I talk to myself constantly in my apartment. I'm sure my neighbors think I'm either completely, you know, insane, or that I have a ghost or something, because I'm constantly talking to myself. But yeah, I think that just getting a little bit goofy with it. You know, if you're writing a novel, maybe try putting your characters into something else, you know, like maybe try like sketching them out if you draw, or try, you say you're an illustrator, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, maybe like, you know, like sketch one of your scenes or something. And then you're like, oh, like the expression on this character's face is, I'm thinking of it a little bit differently than I was when I was writing it. And that tells me this about them. And so maybe that'll lead to a different scene. So I think bringing your characters and putting them into other mediums can be helpful too. I don't know. That's all I got, Zach. What do you have?
That's fantastic. So like, I like the only things that I can think to add to what you mentioned is like, feel free to, like, I find that writing begets writing. Like, it's like an inertial thing. Inertia being one of my favorite and most frustrating laws of reality, of like, objects at rest tend to stay in rest, so on and so, yeah, and so yeah, Zach's not writing tend to stay not writing. And so literally writing anything, and just like free writing, doing morning pages, which is this idea from a book called The Artist's Way. I think I talked last week about a website called 750words.com, which is free for the first month, and then it's like $5 after that. But even just like a couple days of writing 750 words of just like, and trying to set like a 10-minute timer and just get it out, like get it done, not think about it, and burn it. Like, you don't have to even go back and read it, just kind of getting that like stuff out there. One of my favorite books about writing is Anne Lamott has a book called I think it's called Bird by Bird, and it's about writing, and the title of the book comes from a scene in her life where her brother had procrastinated his school assignment on birds until the night before it was due, and he was flipping out at the dinner table, just like, like, how am I gonna do this? And their dad came over and was like, son, you're gonna do it bird by bird. And and she sort of mapped that onto writing, with literally all writing is at the end of the day is putting one word after another. Everything else is you know, narrativized of what it, you know, like having a novel written, like that's not writing. Like that is having written, which is my favorite part of writing. Like writing is like pulling, which is another quote that I stole, which is like, it's like pulling fingernails for me. So I highly recommend doing whatever you can do to trick yourself into getting, like, greasing the wheels, so to speak. And I think Lauren's ideas of speaking, like, for me, that's great. Like, having this recorder has been the best thing for my writing life, just to, you know, and I barely listen back to the thing, but just kind of getting ideas out there. That's been useful for me. So yeah, that's what I got on that. I don't know. Anybody in the chat got any ideas or sort of questions that we're not asking about this, or questions for Julianne, to sort of go a little bit deeper?
People are talking about free writing and how that can be good. Just, you know, jumping into it and just writing, just getting stuff on the page. I think it's totally true. Let's see who said that.
Nice. Well, you look for that.
Now I can't find it.
One of the other things that I find useful that is dangerous, like I don't want to say this is like a problem-free solution, is so procrastination, I think, is given a bad name. I think procrastination can actually be really helpful if
I know
you
procrastination pretty well.
well, if you procrastinate creatively. Like I just started a daily podcast, and before I did, I interviewed a bunch of people who I really respect and who have done daily things. And one of my favorite recent daily creators, this guy Jack Coyne, who was putting up a daily Medium post every day. He dispelled a myth that I was assuming that he was doing it all every single day and like waking up with a blank page. And maybe he started that way, but at a certain point in the practice, he had a couple different things that he would water. So he'd have like 5 documents, and like whichever one was ready that day, by the time it was midnight, he would put that one online. But he would procrastinate one with another so that, the next day he'd have another thing. And I find that to be a really compelling way to think about it. The dangerous thing is you could then get nothing done, and like how I read books is like I procrastinate one book with another book, and then I have 20 books open. I never finish a book. I think a strategic use of procrastination may make a difference for creative fatigue.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I tend to procrastinate creative stuff with like doing chores. So my apartment is always very clean because I'm like always cleaning, and so I don't have to write. But I think creative procrastination can be a really good idea. I'm going to try more of that. Working on other stuff also can sometimes inspire you to, figure something out in the story that you're trying to tell that you're having a hard time with. Or sometimes in the same way that like talking out loud, sometimes like talking to a friend about what you're writing and about like the plot of your novel can be helpful, because then they might ask a question to like clarify something in their brain that then will make you think of something you hadn't thought of before. So getting another person involved in the conversation can be helpful, even just as a sounding board.
Yeah, definitely. I have one friend who I'm sure hates me by now, but I'm always like, hey, here's a chapter. Can you read this? What do you think? What do you think is happening in this chapter? And she's like, that's great. Just keep going. I'm like, okay.
It's a good friend. Keep them around. That's awesome.
That's awesome. So I guess, Julianne, before we wrap up, I'd love to ask you, like, is there anything that stood out for you in this conversation that you think would be useful, or is something you want to try, or did it remind you of something that you have thought of before? I just would be curious what you're getting.
Definitely the like useful procrastination. I think that would help me a lot, because I tend to procrastinate, but making sure that I have like things, like a lineup of things that I can work on that are actually productive, and using one to procrastinate off the other, I think that would be a really, really helpful. And definitely, what was it? Sorry.
All good, no worries.
We just threw a lot of stuff at you.
Yeah, seriously.
I definitely, whenever I'm working on something, I like, before I start even, I draw out my characters, and so
Nice.
maybe do it like putting that in between working on the novel or whatever I'm working on would help a lot too. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us, and I'm excited to see your work when you share it with the world.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'd love to touch base again maybe in a couple weeks and see how it's going.
Yeah.
If that sounds like fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. And
thanks, Julianne.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. So awesome.
I know. Oh my God. What, she was a freshman, right? Like, that's incredible. Like, man.
You're
These
so
kids these days are so creative and so on top
Oh.
of their stuff. It's amazing.
I was just having a mini rebellion on my balcony at Wesleyan. We'd set up these like PA systems, and because of the acoustics of like the hill, you could hear it from miles away.
Oh
So
my
we got,
God.
like, P-Safe knocking on the door. Well, the first day we did it, like people were furious, and like all over the anonymous confession board where people complained about stuff, they were like, "Screw you, Wesco! Like, screw you, D-bags and Wesco, with your loud music." And we were like, "You're so right." We stopped immediately. We apologized. We made a new thread that was like song request form.
Oh
and in 15 minutes, the song request form was like 20 times the length of the like "screw you guys" one. And the first request was the Barbie Girl song.
Oh, perfect.
To which public safety did not take kindly to.
Shocking. That's that's amazing.
It was like the most police officerly thing, where it was like, "We heard the Barbie Girl song from our parking lot. I hate the Barbie Girl song."
I'm impressed they knew what it was. That's some hip cops, hip campus policemen.
Awesome.
Sorry, can I just, a couple people in chat have been asking like about, when you're having like depression or anxiety, like that's a really hard thing to deal with creatively.
Thank
and
you.
I
The
would
chat's
just say,
like over here and I just can't see it. So yeah, please say.
I would just say, use it. Like that is how the Bright Sessions happened, was that my panic attacks were getting so bad, I had to put them somewhere. And so I gave them to a character, and then gave all my other neuroses to a bunch of other characters. And it's been a delightful thing, both creatively and from a mental health. So if there's something, just give it to somebody else, in fiction. Just give that to a fictional character and use your experience and use your struggle. And I know it's hard when you're feeling down to like be creative. It's really, really tough. But sometimes it can be a way out of it, So I would definitely consider creativity as a mode of self-care to bring everything full circle.
Oh my God, you just single-handedly articulated why this channel about creativity and self-care is really about the same thing.
It is! They can be the same thing. It's great.
That's awesome. I want to echo all of that and add, I don't know, like, I guess the one thing about that like I found, I fell into a pitfall when I was in college, and I just am making a note to remember to put this link in the description. It's one of the Green brothers wrote an amazing essay. I think that the one thing, so like using your anxiety, using your depression in your art, I think is an incredible form of therapy and self-care and just self-expression. And I think the one nuance is not thinking that you need to have a mental illness or romanticizing a mental illness to create
totally
art. So like if you have a medication, like don't think that like taking the medication is gonna like you lose your artistic edge. Like I would like strongly be like encourage sort of working with your doctor to find a treatment plan that works for you if you have clinical anxiety and depression. I know that like I've sort of navigated my attention deficit disorder, and I do take medication from time to time, and it's finding that balance where I'm on a very low dose now and I complement it with meditation, but I see value to sort of both sides of it. And so I think it's John Green. It might be Hank Green. I always mix up my Greens. But
sounds like something one or both of them would say, though, for sure.
I think it's the novelist one. So I think
John Green.
So I'll share the link, whichever Green it is, and he talks about basically how when he was trying to like really get into writing novels, he was like, screw these drugs, like they're just screwing up my thing. And all he did was go to a hut in Alaska and lie on the floor and stare at the ceiling and produce no work.
Yeah.
And at the same time, coming out of that and using his medication and finding that solid ground, he was able to channel all of those experiences into something really beautiful that made a difference for a lot of people. So it's like I think both sides are really good to keep in mind.
Absolutely, because it's like, if you struggle with mental health, as everybody does, because everybody has mental health, like you have those experiences and those emotional touchstones, but you can't produce that into something unless you are taking care of yourself. And this like narrative that we've created in media of like, oh, the genius artist who like needs their mental illness or their drugs or their whatever like unhealthy habits to produce art is so bad. Like take care of yourself. Your art is going to be better if you are on solid footing yourself, because you can get into more nuance, you can get deeper into your own experiences and other people's experiences if you are healthy. So absolutely, go to a therapist, find a combination of medication and mindfulness, or, one or the other, or whatever it works, and take care of yourself first and foremost. Yeah. Thank you, Zach, for mentioning that, because that's a really significant point.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning. I wouldn't have known. Teamwork.
Yay.
And that reminds me that we have a couple videos about finding a therapist and a couple things about self-care. I will link.
Goes on the to-do list.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we're sort of running short on time. I think there's a couple more questions that I think if you have time, I'd love to look at.
Yeah. It's only 2:30 here.
We are about to do a table read of Wolf 359 Season 4 scripts. And so I'm getting ready for that. Some folks are descending upon my apartment shortly. But yeah, while I have you, I would love to exploit your genius and wisdom for the benefit of the people.
I'm just happy to hang out with you on your birthday.
This is so cool. I'm so glad this worked out, Lauren. I miss you. I wish that Elon Musk would build that stupid Hyperloop between New York City and LA so that we could
I know. When will it
boxing.
happen?
Ugh.
But I'll be in New York in exactly in less than 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yep.
Amazing.
So it goes your birthday, my birthday, and then New York for me. And then I'm in New York. So we should have a joint birthday celebration.
Oh, let's. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What
Let's do
what
it.
do you want? What do you want to eat?
Lots of food. Just lots of food.
Okay.
Either Italian or Indian food, because I can't get either of those things in LA, really.
Okay, I got you.
So.
You let me know which or both, and I will find the best places.
The best place in Manhattan.
The number one.
Amazing.
I'm gonna stop before I get. That's like the Wolf 359 crew. Like at some point in any writing session, will just devolve into awful Trump impressions. We're just like,
oh God,
it's the best thing.
No.
It's so bad.
Oh, no.
It's really bad.
Oh man, no, that sounds terrible.
Okay. Let's see. Questions. I see a couple. I see. I'm gonna let you choose. We have Jay Frost about advice for developing characters. We have Fallen Star Burning. Do you ever get mental colds where things are worse? And like, would thinking about bouts of mental unwellness help anyone?
I like that phrase of mental colds. That's totally a thing. I call them funks. I'll get into a funk.
Yeah.
Because that totally happens to me. I don't know if that happens to you, Zach.
Absolutely. I don't know if I have a formal name, but like spells, episodes, seasons, and it kind of, they come in waves. And like, I've been told that men have their own hormonal cycles, and like, I think that definitely factors into it for me. There's just sort of patterns, and especially if I'm like not putting in some fundamental stuff, like if I'm not getting my diet, like if I'm not getting like greens and things, and if I'm not getting any exercise or getting sunlight, which happens in this windowless room of a like man cave studio that I spend so much freaking time in. And
that happens
helps.
to me, and I live in Los Angeles.
How?
Sometimes because I don't leave my home.
Yeah, no, it's easy. I think it's really easy, especially in a creator freelance lifestyle, to get into a bubble, like I did in college, where it just became really easy to like eat in my room alone with it, and that was the biggest thing that my therapist in college recommended, was to just like leave my room. Doesn't matter for really how long, like try to get out 15 minutes at a timer. Be around green and be around other people.
Yeah, I think when you find yourself getting into those spells or those funks or the mental colds, figuring out what it's about, I think is helpful. Like I definitely will sometimes like be in one of those kind of fits and think like, okay, well, like where am I on my cycle? Could it be because of that? Is it because I haven't exercised in a couple days? Is it because I've been socializing too much? I'm really introverted, that like if I have sort of like 4 or 5 consistent days where I'm seeing people every day and interacting with people every day, I get really grumpy and I get really like just anxious and on edge and stuff. So I'm like, okay, good. That's good to know. I need to now. And then once you determine what it's coming from, you can kind of figure out what you need. Right. Sometimes it's that it's been 9 days and I haven't spoken to another human being. And I'm like, I should probably talk to another human. That might be good.
I was going to say, like, I used to identify as introverted. And then in college, I sort of had a transformation sort of in between high school and college. And now it's like, for me, I get that, like, if I've just been in my head, I go to dark place, and like especially like when I'm listening like a lot of like news podcasts and like stuff, like I'm like it's inevitable, like the world, just like everything's ended, just like all this stuff, and like when I get out and like I'm a terrible, just like in dialogue something comes available to me and people remind me who I am for them, which makes such a big difference, because like I'm a terrible critic, and so it's really nice to get that outside perspective, and it's as simple as just like chatting with some of y'all on social media, and like as I think like as grounded as like meeting up for coffee, like going for a walk. I hear like walking and talking actually like forces your brain to like switch between lobes, which is really healing and healthy. So like that, it's like, oh, then no wonder that's helpful for me.
Yeah, that does make sense. So figuring out, because for me it definitely like tends to be that I get overwhelmed with socializing, and I need to go into like my own head for a little bit. So I think figuring out what works for you, and then identifying why you're in that space, and then going outside or staying inside or whatever it is you need to do to fix that. Yeah,
my one of my favorite teachers in high school, I took like history and English classes with. He was really clear with us. There was like he would have a sub once a month. Every month, because he was taking a mental health day. He would just like be like, I'm taking a mental health day, and y'all will have a sub and you'll watch a movie and I'll see you the next day. And that was like, I know, right? Like I'm like totally lost on me when I was in, like, how cool that was when I was in high school. I was just like,
that is so cool.
Sweet excuse to get a day off. But like now I'm like, that is so responsible. Like especially as a teacher, where like your whole job is giving everything you've got and then doing it again the next day. I think that's incredibly useful. Like I personally don't get a lot of value out of identifying as an introvert or an extrovert. I think I'm very much somewhere in the middle of that spectrum, and I see it as a spectrum. And and like it can change seasonally. Like in the winter, I feel like I'm much more introverted, whereas in the summertime, I feel a lot more destroying my desk, extroverted. So yeah. That's what I have to say about that.
I agree. Good talk. Was there another?
Yeah, let's see. I think, oh boy, this chat moves fast. You guys are amazing. And I just want to like,
you guys are phenomenal.
This community makes me so excited to be alive, and every time I come home to go there for a sec, so the L train comes out at my stop above the ground, so you leave the tubes, and the first thing that you see is a cemetery that's miles long. It's like 3 Central Parks. It's so big. It's like and I'm really glad. Like, so when I lived at Wesleyan, there's a cemetery right outside that dorm, right at the top of the hill, and so it's been really nice to have that reminder of like, we have this moment, and that's all we can count on, and it's just really grounding for me to remember that. It can be scary and anxiety producing, but more than anything, it just like has me come back from here to out to here, and yeah, just like, I had a lot of loss at the end of last year. Julia, who previously had Tiffy, whose time it was, she was happy, she was looking for the end of life, because she was 94 and miserable, and Not because she was 94, but because she was blind and dementia and all these things, which is part of life. And then, but also some friends who came to an end way too soon, in my opinion. And so being able to hang with you guys and talk with you guys and hold space for conversations that will hopefully make a difference for you guys is what makes my day, my year, my life. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to hang with y'all. And thank you, Lauren, for joining me in this crazy, weird experiment.
I am happy to join anytime. I completely echo all of what you just said. And I mean, that's what like art is too. You know, it's like this constant dialogue with between you and the people who are consuming your art and making it their own and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that, yeah, it's like connected me to this larger internet community has been so amazing. And the fact that it's connected me to like other people making art that I've now become really good friends with is such a like lovely gift, you know? So I'm just very grateful for the internet and for you. Not in that order.
Ditto.
You are.
Ditto, homie. Oh. Goddamn.
All right.
We could do this all day.
I know.
All right. I think we're gonna have to say.
There's just they could go on for hours and hours.
It could go on
and hours.
forever.
We'll do this again.
You'll have to come
probably.
back. You'll have to come back.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love you, Lauren.
Oh, I love you too, Zach. Happy birthday. You're
Thank
so great.
You. I feel the same way about you.
Happy birthday.
All right, Tiffy says
Another
goodbye.
year conquered.
Ooh, whoops. Seriously, Tiffy says goodbye. 1 second, I'll give you a close-up of Tiffy before you go.
Bye, Tiffy. Oh, I love her so much. She's so cute.
I wish you weren't allergic so that you could...
I know.
If you slept over, she would probably jump in the airbed and cuddle. She's a super cuddler.
That's all I want, and I can't have it. Life is so cruel.
I'm going to get you like a cat-proof hazmat suit.
Perfect.
I'm not sure.
Just come in fully in a spacesuit. And...
Yeah. 1 second, I realized that the stream is lopsided for Tiff. For the Tiff monster. Oh, it's all good.
The Tiff monster.
This setup is so insane. You're going to like laugh at me so hard when you see this setup. It's like insane.
I cannot wait.
All right, Tiffy.
I'm now looking at the stream so I can look at her.
Hey, good
so
morning.
Cute.
She's a little bit mad at me because I wasn't here last night because of the race. Yeah.
Oh.
It's okay.
She missed you. Someone thinks I should get a furless cat. One that looks like Gollum.
That's amazing.
I've thought about it, guys. But apparently cat allergies are based on like the oils in their skin, not the fur.
Dander. And fun stories.
Right.
So a couple things. One, you can conquer dander with diet.
Okay.
We're casting for the Loveless Administration special, and one of our actors to be is allergic to cats, but isn't allergic to his cat, who sleeps on his face because he feeds them a raw food diet. Yeah, and so it's really good for them. Yeah, there's some strategies. There's some crafty strategies.
All right, I will keep that in mind. Maybe someday.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe
Well,
someday.
such a pleasure to have you. I'll let you go. Bless your heart.
So good to see you, and have a wonderfully happy birthday, and say hi to the whole wolf pack for me.
I will.
And I will see you in a couple weeks.
Yes. I'm so looking
All
forward
right,
to
bye.
it. All right. Bye. Oh my God, what a wonderful person. Oh, that is super out of focus. How did it's so far away. Okay. I am so thrilled to celebrate my birthday with all of you. And just a couple things to wrap up. I've got to run, but let's see. What did I want to talk about? I want to do a picture and show you some websites. But first I have to make that work. So let's do that really quickly. Ooh. Whoa. Reset that bad boy. So many moving parts to this thing. One day I will have like a remote control to just like automatically do things. I'm learning so much doing this, and I appreciate y'all having the patience while I learn how to do this. All right, so let's see. And I think that this is gonna do it. Yes! It worked! All right. Whew. All right, guys, so here's the deal. I just started a daily podcast. It's a lot like a daily vlog on YouTube, but maybe you could call it a daily pod. It's going to be short. It's probably going to be like 3 to 5 minutes a day, maybe even less, depending on what my workload is. Like today has been crazy. We'll see what that ends up being. Interesting. Maybe I'll use some of the content from this stream. We'll see. It's experimental, but the first episode went up last night at midnight. April 8th, my day from yesterday, is on the feed right now. It's available pretty much everywhere podcasts can be found. You can search for focused.af. If you go to the website focused.af, it'll take you to iTunes. You don't need to watch it on iTunes, but I would really appreciate if you'd leave me a review on iTunes, because it makes a big difference to get this out into the ether of the interwebs. And yeah, it should be really fun. I've wanted to do a daily thing for a while, and daily vlogging is just too much work because I'm super anal about my videos. I'm just like such a perfectionist that this is what's going to work for me and my schedule. Running out of time. I wanted to share this crazy, weird client project that I got to do that has just been featured on the Huffington Post. This is about professional cuddlers, and this is a particular professional cuddler, this amazing human named Chris, who used to be on The Real World, the reality TV series, and he believes in cuddling as a method of dealing with anxiety and loneliness and depression in the queer community. And it got featured in the Queer Voices Huffington Post section and a couple other places. Super cool. That's a thing. Check it out. I'll put the link below. The Webby Awards. Oh, really? Oh, man. My web browser's messed up from signing up on the site. I don't know why. But basically, Lauren and I were... our podcasts are nominated with a bunch of other ones. Wolf 359, The Bright Sessions, so many other podcasts, 5 podcasts, best of the internet. Webbies are like the Oscars of the internet. You can think of it that way. And if you go to wolf359.fm/vote, you can vote for either of these series. Or I would recommend that you vote for Wolf 359, The Bright Sessions, to #VoteIndie. All the other shows are awesome and part of major networks with major funding. And so I think it's really cool that independent shows that are just friends hanging out just making this happen like by hook, by crook, with no budgets, like Lauren and us at Wolf 359. Boom. There is the site. You can get there by going to wolf359.fm/vote. And I'll put that link down below, and you can expect a fun little video from Lauren and I in the next week or so, recommending and promoting Vote Indie. Super pumped about this. So yeah, that is available there. And then, now that we got it open, we can close it. Yeah. And then last week I talked about the Learner's House. The Learner's House is where I met my roommate Andrew. It's a thing that I've done the last couple years with some friends where basically 10 of us descend on an Airbnb for like 5 to 10 days with something that we want to learn, or a project that we want to work on. I want to organize one as a more formal program with like some sort of focused environment for people to have a working creative vacation and to work together to realize their creativity and explore new things that they wouldn't have the chance to do otherwise. And I'm doing a survey to see what people's budgets might be for this sort of thing, what they would want to work on, and just sort of explore the reality of doing this as a real thing and not just like an ad hoc thing that I've done with only the people that I know in my personal network. So you can check that out and fill out this survey that's on the screen around me at learners.house. That's learners.house. So you can check that out. Again, link will be in the description. You can like send me any messages that you want to ask about this at the bottom of the form in like the comments section. Really look forward to seeing what you guys have about that. Falling Star Burning, no offense at all. The Bright Sessions is amazing. I do not begrudge anyone who has that as their favorite over Wolf 359. Vote indie. That's what matters. And for those of you who do love Wolf 359, vote Wolf 359 because like whatever, like vote. You do you. You do you. There's no wrong answer here. The fact that there's just this category, I can't pull it back up because I closed the window, but just the fact that there is a category for audio dramas in the Webbies is a huge win for creators in general. And the fact that 2 out of the 5, which are already in the 9% of the best submissions of thousands around the world, speaks volumes about the power of the indie community and how amazing it is that you can just pick up a microphone and log into the internet and make something that people will relate to and engage with, and it's just incredible. So yeah, you do you. And Ars Paradoxica was nominated for a Sound Design Award. So go over to the Sound Design Award. I'm not sure the link, but you can just find it in the podcast and audio and digital audio section of that. All right. Let's see. I think that is everything that I wanted to do today, and I gotta run. People are here. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, where's that button? 1 second!